Hello and welcome to the show. I'm Jacquelene. You're on A1R Psychic Radio and Moonstruck TV, coming to you live from my office in Melbourne, and looking forward to connecting with you again. So we're on the last of the tarot cards. This is the World card. So it's the last of the major arcana cards in the tarot. So when we're looking at the World card, we're kind of seeing, usually there's a snake biting its own head, biting its own tail, actually, in a circle. Here we have actually a whole bunch of fruits and, things like that, fruits and leaves, sort of like all that abundance surrounding her. Usually also you'll see the two scrolls, so a scroll in each hand or some kind of reference to knowledge. And when we're looking at the World card, we're looking at bringing things to completion, a sense of abundance. There can be travel involved. There can be connecting with international people, organisations, and even loved ones when we look at the World card. So that's sort of what it can be, in a positive position. In what's considered a negative position in that card, we're dealing actually with a sense of stagnancy and I can't go anywhere type thing. You could kind of look at the World card as denoting aspects of world events. So there can be a sort of a connection to that. But yeah, when you're looking at the World card, you're kind of looking at, going out into the world and going into the next stage or the next journey. And if we sort of think of the major arcana of the tarot as actually a wheel, it goes around. So it's not actually a start and a beginning and an end, although technically the 21st card is seen as the last of the major arcana cards, therefore kind of an ending. So really though it's a wheel. So just as it goes to the World card, travels through the World card, we go back into the Fool's card and right back around the tarot major arcana to get back to the World card again. So if you sort of think of beginnings and endings, every new birth starts with an in-breath. So it's inspiration as well. When we talk about a new idea coming in, inspire, to breathe in and to be inspired, so to feel illuminated by or encouraged by an idea or an idea coming to your head, in it comes. So that's the inward motion. When we look at, when things die or people die, we die on a last breath out rather than a breath in and see you later. It's actually a breath out, but we do. So we sort of look at the things that we maybe create, and then the World cards send out into the world. So we breathe them out they go. We've breathed in the inspiration, created it, and then boom, out it goes. So, this is aspects of looking at that card. If you're looking at yes or no sort of way of using the tarot, then the World card would be kind of seen as a yes. So it's sort of like things coming to fruition. But yeah, a lot of the times when I'm seeing the World card, I'll see travel, or it can be a completion to something that's been a long time coming. Sometimes the World card can also be, all right, well, I'm done with that journey in a relationship as well. So there can be that aspect. It's also going to be like when we're looking at the major arcana, I've been walking you through these cards for, quite a long time now, from the Fool card right through. They're points on which you can meditate and ask yourself questions about that. So, for example, if we look at the World card from a travel aspect, it's like, well, in your travel, what are you hoping to find? And in traveling, like going in on a big journey. Some people go out onto a big journey into the world, overseas, to find themselves. But, it's the internal journey that can be just as important, and we can be doing that from home. We can also find, when we're looking at different cultures and other people, that with these days, particularly with social media, we can be connecting with people all around the world with different perspectives, different cultural viewpoints, different values and different traditions that we can come into contact with people across the world and across different sorts of cultures and backgrounds we might never have thought of or come up with before or come into contact with before. So, there's a great degree of wisdom and knowledge we can gain by, having that listening experience of learning about another culture, not just trying to fit them into our cultural reference point. When I was a global field force recruitment manager, we would be sending people out into, countries around the world, and I'd be dealing with people in those countries and having to send them on assignments in the field. And it was really interesting, for example, that a worldwide chain would be very popular in other countries, but in particular countries where, for example, let's say food, they had really amazing food already and a very different, very healthy, wonderful lifestyle. And we were having to send them to these particular food outlets where it's very standardised other places, and yet the local people are like, why would I eat that? And then if you look at their food, these local people, the local people to that country, you go, why would you eat that food? Because frankly, oh my God, yum. But then you get people from other countries visiting that country and going, but why don't you have that here? It's almost like, Vegemite, right? I am a Vegemite lover. I have had fun with meeting Americans in Melbourne and saying, why don't you put some Vegemite on that toast, maybe just a tiny bit first, just to make sure you don't want to vomit afterwards. It's like if you go to Iceland and you eat that pickled cured shark. Different countries around the world, and even just how we relate with food. We can also connect to people's cultures through food and go, wow, that's really, really different, and it gives me a different way of seeing the world, because you're getting to understand the culture behind the food. And so, I think we gain a lot more by seeking to understand people with which we might have differences, to find where our commonalities are on a humanistic level. And I think, that's a very important part of being in this world, is being able to connect with other people. And certainly through that particular role in field force management, it was really educational, trying to say to someone calling into the call centre, hello, could you wait a moment, in their language, and they just laughing at you quite understandably because your accent is awful. So you then get your staff to get onto the phone and they're giggling because, she tried, but it wasn't that great. So, I think if you can laugh at yourself in this world and seek to understand other people and laugh with but not at them, I think, it just enriches your experience, because you learn more about yourself, about what you and how you approach other people's cultures, other people's views, without having to get your back up and upset or this sort of thing just because they're expressing something differently or relating to something differently, rather than trying to change their country and take on your culture in their own country just because you're visiting it. I remember being in Bali one Christmas, and I love Mariah Carey, but there's just only so much you can take at Christmas. You just mention her name and you can already hear the song, can't you? Particularly if you work in retail. But this was in a resort in a tucked away part of Bali, and they just were playing American Christmas songs the whole time. And I'm like at the bar at the pool, and I'm like this, and I'm saying, look, I've come to Bali to experience Bali, and they're like, yeah, we know. And I'm like, could you just lay it off for me for half an hour? Yeah, they did that, but it was back on half an hour later. Maybe that's part of my tolerance lesson. Any case, this has been the World Card, giving you a bit of a chat and idea and something to contemplate. Going to catch you next time on A1R Psychic Radio and Moonstruck TV. In the meantime, there's more shows on this afternoon, evening and morning, wherever in the world you are. Sending you lots of love. Catch you next time. See you later for now.